Cecilia, thank you for being with us. So our next speaker is Cecilia Bonefeld-Dahl, and Cecilia is Director General of Digital Europe. And well, I've seen Cecilia speak as well, and she tells it like it is. So Cecilia, I'm going to hand over to you. Thank you.
So much. Can you please let me know if you can hear me, everyone? Thank you so much. So I believe I have a presentation to share also. And first of all, I want to say that the gender equality for me has been one of my major agendas since 2005, where I actually, it was called the top leadership meeting of the ICT sector in Denmark. And we were 250 men and 2 women. And we basically decided to meet up, she and I, and discuss how can we make a small club of, the few of us who are actually active in the ICT sector. And today this has evolved. Anja Monrad, who's also the president of the Skills and Jobs Coalition, is actually heading it today, took over when I went to Brussels. And today it's a network of 800 women and still an active group of around 50 top leaders in Europe in the ICT sector. And we have really tried to work with unconscious bias. We have tried to work with educating younger children and younger women on how to enter the ICT sector. And Mette Lundberg, who is a part of this group also, and the director in the ICT Sector Association of Denmark, has actually educated 10,000 children in Denmark in coding classes, where they have 3 years of coding on their curricula. I'm also very active in the Skills and Job Coalition, and my staff, Kashas, who is also listening in today, is running some amazing project where we reskill 800 women to go from other jobs, often secretaries, organizers, into ICT jobs. And so why is it important? Let me start by saying that it's important because technology is not something that is, a discipline. It's pervasive. It's basically a part. It's mainstream. It's a part of our cultural, societal, and of course the business development of Europe. It is what is driving our growth, our innovation, and our societal development. Just take something like artificial intelligence. To me, artificial intelligence is one of the major tools that can help us forecast the jobs of the future. We can already actually do that now by sector to see what jobs will actually appear. It is a major chance to actually use AI for unconscious bias and bias in decisions, to analyze biases in decisions. I don't see it as a threat to actually do bias. I see it more as an opportunity to get rid of bias. And if we look at the use of technology, if all the coding people or all the developers are men, of course, it will be developed with a bias towards men. So both for our economical growth and the stability of our society and the inclusiveness of the society, but also on the more concrete level, on the application that will be developed for the future, that being on green tech for letting out less CO2, or that being for election programs or HR application, there needs to be a balance in how you develop your IT tools. And why is it important? I will tell you some figures, a lot of figures, and I know that you won't be able to basically see half of it, or I will not be mentioning half of them, but please note the immense difference in men and women. So I would say we have a long way to go in Europe for equality. Everybody says it matters, only a few people actually walks the talk. So please flip to next slide. Yeah, so here's what you see. CEOs of the largest listed companies, and remember, the listed companies are the ones that normally is being monitored by market, that they have equality, or even have regulations toward that they have to have women in higher management. Even in spite of that, we see that 7.7% of the CEOs are female. So this is, I'm just stating the fact. Let's discuss the whys afterwards. Maybe flip to the next slide. So thank you. So looking at the differences in countries, if we make a statement that like, I would feel very comfortable with a woman CEO of a major company in my country, we see that Germany, we have around 20% of the male population that agrees on this, and maybe 25 coming toward 30 with women. This is quite amazing, and we see the highest scores is taken from UK, where between 40 and 50% agrees that they would feel comfortable with a female CEO. This is in spite of the fact that women has basically better education. They have skills that normally is approved, like very good management skills, like empathy. At least it's perceived that they have higher empathy. And if we look at France, Sweden, Belgium, Germany, all of these basically have legislative gender quota targets. I'm, as you most likely can guess, a liberal by nature. But I would say, of course, we should never accept that we have 7.7 CEOs. I mean, you could even say, why would we even educate women if they don't have a chance of getting a decent job and the same chances as men? This is even a waste of money. Of course, I'm saying this not because I feel that way, that they shouldn't have, but it's definitely a fact that we do not, even in Europe, which is, I guess, maybe one of the continents of the world that is speaking mostly about this and really believes in equality, and even that has it as a fundamental right in our charter, we basically do not find ourselves in a situation where we do have gender equality. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we have done in Digital Europe is that we have set a target a few years ago in our manifesto. I urge you to read it. It's very, very interesting. And we have said that we would like 6% of the working women to be ICT specialists. Right now is only 1.4. This is, of course, way too low. And I think, you know, in our heads, we should really put a target of 50-50. I think we should promote leaders that believe in gender equality as one of the major principles of their businesses. And I do believe that government should really look at quotas. And I know that European Commission is making this on a voluntary basis, but as this is a fundamental right, I would argue that it's worthwhile looking at a real regulation on this, so we can ensure that we actually get the right gender equality. Maybe go to next slide. Maybe just worth noting on this previous slide, you don't have to change back. 52% of the current working population, and this was before COVID, needs reskilling due to digital disruption in the next 5 years. It means half, maybe now it's 60-70%. This means that the ones who have the digital skills will have the jobs of the future. And I don't even kind of doubt this. This is for a fact. So, I mean, I'm glad that a lot of women are also here, so please go ahead and tell your children that they really need to have the right skills, because in the future, I don't think there will be much difference. They will be looking for the digital skills, no matter what you are, a woman or a man. So what we have also done is that we have seen that Ursula von der Leyen, a brave and strong leader, and of course supported by Maria Gabriel, who I've been working with for the last 3 years on this agenda, have set a target of 20% of the recovery fund, so 750 billion euros being spent on digital. And as you see here, we have just published our recommendation on how to spend those money. And on the very top is digital education, skills and inclusion. This is a national competence, and I do hope that everybody who is from a member state will take this back to their governments and really urge them to invest in reforms in the school system and educational systems, but also really looking at how we can use tech to educate, both to teach, but also to teach the skills. digital healthcare, SME and scale-ups, digital transformation, Green Deal, and connectivity and infrastructure, of course, again, being very important, because if you want women to work on equal terms as men, you know, we all know that women have much more to do in the households, but if they have to travel also, this might end up in them, you know, either being on part-time or choosing to be the lower paid in the family because they cannot work from home because there is not a decent connectivity. So I would say the two most relevant for these are, of course, the digital education and the connectivity and infrastructure. Next slide, please. So the ones I just want to highlight, you can see these and you can read them, all of them, but we have set very concrete targets of how to actually reach these goals and make sure that both girls and women actually have equal rights of technology to work from home and to be educated on digital skills. One of the things that I want to highlight is that right now, only 40% of the teachers believe that they can actually teach by using technologies. This means that a lot of children are not really having their education at the moment during the lockdowns. And even worse, we've just seen that we are missing millions of skills to actually teach coding and other skills. But if by actually using technology and teaching through technology, you can have a teacher anywhere in the world teaching coding, and all you need is teachers that knows how to facilitate this on ground. Next slide, please. So what can we do in Digital Europe? As I said, Kasia, who is also present in this call, she's actually running a great project called Women for IT that I believe that will be presented later on. You know, 700 girls and young women are being trained in 7 pilot countries. So they're being retrained basically to have upskilled of digital skills. And you'll hear much more about this. This is not the only thing that we are doing. We are living, also walking the talk. Maybe flip to next slide. So I can just tell you a little bit on what we actually are doing internally. We are basically giving training to our staff on unconscious bias. So we have a training, I believe, coming up next week. One of the things that we do know is that we tend to choose people that are easy for us, people who look like ourselves, because it's difficult. It's difficult to handle people who are basically very different from ourselves. And therefore, also, if we have now more than 90% male leaders, of course, they tend to find it easy and non-important to basically choose somebody who's different from themselves. And therefore, the development on management level, amongst others, goes very slowly. This is why being aware of the unconscious bias is extremely important as a leader. We give trainings. I can tell you that we have more than 50% women in my management team, not because I only choose women, but because I know also the weaknesses of women. I have leaders that I would say maybe nobody else would have chosen because they are very modest. They will say things like, no, I don't really need a salary raise. I have aligned all the salaries, so we have equal salary bands for equal skills, not for age, not for the number of years that you work, but for the job that you do and the value that you add. And we have 18 nationalities. We have different kind of sexualities. We stretch from 22 to 72 of age, and we also have different races in our staff. And sometimes it looks like it's all orchestrated from me, but it actually isn't. I just insist that people have to be treated equally. They need to equal pay for equal job, and that there is equality on all levels. Maybe I was asked, can you tell a little bit a story on from your own life on how you handle this? Well, first of all, I insist on walking the talk. I don't say that things are important, but do nothing about it. I have lived, of course, the inequality myself. It doesn't really get to me. I'm a pretty robust person, but I also recognize that not everyone is as robust as me. And if you have to face jokes on your sex, jokes on your body, jokes on your look. This might be a joke to me that I don't really care about. Honestly, I think I find it a little bit pathetic. But for many people, this will hold them back to move on in their careers. So I have taken some fights that other women might not. Of course, you cannot fight everything. You also just have to let some of it just go. But I mean, hang in there, right? And just be kind. Insist in being kind, being relevant when you speak, and bring it to the table. Say it out loud. You know, I don't understand. Can you explain me why I'm being paid less, or why I don't have this opportunity right now? Can you explain me what exactly, is it my personality? What was it that you would like me to change? So the more you speak out loud, the more you actually will get the recognition and the knowledge of discrimination. I really hope that that I have inspired you, that I've given you a bit of facts findings, and I'm very honored if you want me to take a few questions, Gillian.
Oh, well, Cecilia, we're kind of running a little bit late. So,
okay, no problem.
But thank you hugely. And I'm sure we're going to be in touch. And we, as everybody was saying, we loved your KPIs. I love that you say that you're robust and that you're using your own privilege to help others. So that's really, really important. And I think the message on reskilling or switching or changing careers is really key for us. And one of the ways in which we will fight the need for excess skills that we don't currently have in IT. So thank you. And Cecilia, we need to talk.
okay, take care. Have a great event. Thank you. Bye bye.